Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah to preview Game Week 4. Abdul, good to have you back on the channel, mate. We actually have the exact same rank right now, but you got a green arrow last week and I got a red arrow. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I think I'll go into this game week with a bit of a psychological boost over you. But yeah, it's one of those. It's like even if it's like a small green, you still feel good. Um, in reality, it doesn't really matter. It matters about how your team is set up for the weeks ahead.
That is true, of course. But you did have a pretty good week last week. You know, a 10% sort of green arrows, nothing to be sniffed at. I think I got like 41 or 42 points. You got 50 points. Mainly made up by the Bruno Fernandes captaincy,
Yeah.
which is was worked out really well and fair play. I think the majority of people would have said he was one of the best captain options, if not the best captain option last week. And with players like Salah blanking, Wood, who I captain blanking, a few other blanks in there as well, that was the difference. How are you
Very
feeling
much,
about your
yeah.
team overall, based on last game week and just how are you feeling with it?
Yeah, it's a bit annoying because I made two free transfers. I bought in Wood and Sarr. Wood obviously blanked at home to West Ham. Sarr got injured.
Oh, you benched him as
So
well. I didn't
And I,
realize that.
I benched him as well because,
Wow.
yeah, I played Rangers over him. I mean, that was a kind of 50-50 call in
Yeah.
my eyes, which I got wrong. And yeah, so it couldn't have gone much worse in terms of that. Although, 50 points in the green arrow looks okay. In
Okay.
reality, I think it was much worse. Using the two free transfers as well on a player who just got injured or potentially injured, isn't the best. So now it kind of looks like we've not had anything official on Sarr yet, but I think the initial kind of rumor was like 4 weeks. He's got like a hamstring injury, so I'll need to see the time scale of his injury, and that will kind of really determine what I'm going to do this week.
Okay, so to timestamp this video, we're recording it at 1 p.m. on Thursday.
Mm.
This is going to go out Friday morning. So I think when do Palace play? Do you know when the press conference is likely to be? The Palace press
It'll be on,
conference?
it'll be on Friday, yeah.
Right. So
It's
even
usually
when this
Friday
video goes
afternoon,
out, we're not going to know 100%. You
possibly.
know what's gone on
Yeah.
with Saar, but later on Friday, I think we probably will get some news. So let's just go with the most likely scenario right now that Saar is out for a decent length of time, as in too long to hold on your bench, probably.
Yeah.
What are you thinking in terms of him?
Yeah, right now I'm going with that assumption that he's going to be out for more than 2 weeks, which means I'm going to get rid. So there's a few options I'm thinking of. Paqueta is one, and DI, Dewsbury Hall. There's a few options there, but I think my top two that I've kind of whittled it down to is Paqueta and NDI.
Okay.
And yeah, because the plan was obviously this week bench Wood and then play Sarr for his home game at Sunderland.
Yeah.
I don't know if the team's up on the screen, but it seemed like it kind of rotated perfectly. But now, obviously, if Sarr's out, I think I will need to get rid. Because I do plan on playing the bench boost in Game Week 5 as well. So it's not like a chance. It's not even like I can play Wood for this week and bench Sarr because I'll need to get rid of him next week anyway if he's out for a while. So yeah, so Paqueta looks like a good choice for me because I think first of all he's cheap. I think he's 5.9 million. He's on penalties. He's seems to be decent at the DEFCON as well, and he does allow me kind of. I've kind of made I guess a professional plan up to game week 9, and that Paqueta transfer with the saved money kind of allows me to make future transfers as well.
Okay.
So he looks like the top option, but I do like NDI as well. The only thing with NDI is that he's got Liverpool next week in Game Week
Yeah.
5 where I plan to bench boost. So that is, if it wasn't for that, NDI would probably be top of my list.
Very interesting. So we're pretty much in the exact same spot there.
Yeah.
Our front eight is very similar as well. I have Joao Pedro and Semenyo instead of your Bruno and Thiago. Apart from that, it's exactly the same. I was also, hoping to bench Wood this week and play
Yeah.
Sarr. And exactly like you, I was thinking more concretely about Ndai, but my mind has sort of been pushed a little bit towards Paqueta. So it's
Yeah.
between those two for
It
me
looks
as
a good
well.
option. He's a 90-minute man as well. So, I mean, he does look like a really just kind of solid option. One thing I will say is that like I have just say let's say Sarr's out for one game,
Mm.
then I'd probably keep him. If the update is positive, like he might be close for this game week, but he's not going to
Yeah.
make it, but he should be
Yeah.
back. Then I'd probably just save the transfer and play Wood, or play Wood and move like Van de Ven to Lacroix from Palace.
Yeah.
So that's one option I'm thinking of as well. But I don't know. I mean, my kind of initial inkling is that Sarr's going to be out for if it's a hamstring injury, he's probably going to be out for a few weeks.
Let's go through potential transfers for you or what you have lined
Yeah,
up until game week 9, just because that's what I love doing on Fantasy Football Hub,
yeah,
my team tool. We can visualize like the bench boost next week
yeah,
and then all the way up to game week 9. So let's go through it. So this week the most likely move would be what?
yeah. So I say Sarr to Paqueta would be the most likely move.
Okay. And is that in terms of comparing Paqueta and Dye, is that just because or mainly because Paqueta's price is that much cheaper?
Yeah, the price comes in consideration. The fact he's on penalties in 90 minutes. I know on DI he's on penalties as well, but also the bench boost game week 5. I really don't want to keep the bench boost like any longer because Champions League started, Europa League started and all that,
Yeah.
and I think game week 5 is a good time to use it. And if you look at my team for game week 5, it's not a bad bench boost. I've got Dubravka and Esteve at home to Nottingham Forest. And then I'll probably have Rangers on the bench as well. So and Thiago. So I mean, it's not an amazing bench boost, but I think I'll have 15 starters in that game. And who knows? It could be one of those where Burnley keep a clean sheet, and that's all I need really for that to be successful.
Well, Fantasy Football Hub like the fixture so much for Burnley that actually it's Porro and Van de Ven that are on your bench, which I'm not necessarily sure I'd agree with, but like Sanchez also is on the bench. That's how good they think that
Yeah,
the Burnley at home game could be for
yeah,
your Burnley assets. And that does look like a very strong bench boost. Yeah, Sanchez, Reinders, Porro, Van de Ven, or like, yeah, as you said, Thiago, Esteve, Dubravka. Very,
yeah.
very
It's
strong.
decent. It's decent. Yeah. So game week 5, I'll save. The plan is excuse me, save a transfer and bench boost.
Yep.
And then game week 6 is an interesting one because I can either free hit in game week 6. I've not decided this yet, or use 2 free transfers to bring in Haaland. So that would be Thiago and Salah to Haaland and Semenyo.
Oh,
So
wow.
that at the moment I've got 0.4 million buffer. So again, that's one of the reasons why Paqueta is a bit more appealing than DI just now because Paqueta does allow that double move. So yeah, so let's say I go for that.
That is glorious, by the way, I've got to say. That just looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks good, but also a 386, 386 looks good as well.
I think I don't know, the problem with free hit 6 is that apart from City, I don't see like that much upside compared to the team you already have. Like if you
Yeah,
look at the team you've got double Tottenham defense, Wolves at home, Nico Williams, Sunderland at
yeah,
home, Semenyo you're bringing in, great fixture.
exactly.
Fernandez, Brentford away. You've got Reinders and Haaland there already. Then you've got Wood, Watkins. The only potential doubt is Verts away at Palace, but I mean, it's not that bad. Like I don't know if you're getting that much upside from a free hit if you can get Haaland in, like you're able to do.
Yeah, the main reason of 386 is that firstly, obviously, it does allow you to just get any player you want for that week.
Yeah,
But secondly, with the 386, I keep Salah. So the main kind of conundrum is: do I keep Salah? Do I want to keep him, or do I want to move on to Haaland from game week 6? So there's obviously 2 game weeks until then, so I will have a bit more time to kind of ponder on that. I don't have to commit to that just yet, which is good because my transfer this week doesn't really determine whether I need to free hit in 6 or not. But yeah, like right now I'm probably about I'd say 65%, 65-70% on not playing the free hit in game week
yeah,
6 and using those 2 free transfers. And then game week 7, so again, like when I'm thinking game week 7 onwards, I very likely probably won't do those because when you get to a certain point, it's like you plan, but then things happen. But what I've
yeah.
got in mind at the moment is Porro and Wood to Gabriel and Strand Larson, which gives me for game
Wow.
week 7. I really want an Arsenal player in game week 7, so that's where that's going to start. I'm going to get Gyökeres as well, but he can wait until game week 9. So game week 7, Strand Larsen's got Brighton at home, and obviously Arsenal got West Ham at home, and then Ollie Watkins has got Burnley at home. So I don't think it's really worth moving him to Gyökeres that game week. So game week 8 will be a save, and then game week 9 will be Watkins to Gyökeres. I think that's the right time for my team to get Gyökeres in. So Arsenal play Crystal Palace at home that week, and Villa play City. So I think for me that I really like that plan. Obviously, I kind of injury permitting, and I know that usually when you're planning, so far ahead, things do happen. But I still think it's good to have a provisional plan there because it does allow you to pivot and kind of move about your transfer plans when you do have when you've got something in mind already. So yeah, so that's where I'm at the moment.
No, I think that's super. I think you've literally just shown why you need to have at least a loose plan going ahead, because it does affect this current game week. If you went for Ndiaye over Paqueta, you wouldn't be able to do the two moves that you had in mind for game week, game week 6. Simple as that. So that is why you need to like use a tool like this. And I know I'm like sort of plugging it here, but that is probably the best example I've seen of somebody being able to utilize the tool and go through and then work backwards, saying, okay, well, I know I want Haaland captain for game week 6 because that is the best captain in the game. Either you free hit, yeah, sure, but if you can save the free hit, maybe use it in 13 and you make the decision that actually Haaland is the one you want. I mean, looking at those two from game week 6, Haaland versus Salah, I think a lot of people may well swap to just make the swap and save the free hit there, because the fixtures afterwards for Salah are tough, and it depends on what happens with Isak, obviously, but he hasn't looked that good so far. But as you said, you give yourself some time to think about that. Game week 6 is still quite a way away.
Yeah.
But yeah, working backwards, knowing that you need the cash there.
Yeah, and the thing this season as well is that we've got the wild card, right? So we've got 2 wild cards. So if things can hit the fan, I can just use an early wild card. I mean, my plan is right now wild card game week 13, but I have no qualms about using it earlier if I need to. I don't think game week 13 is it's a good time to use it because Liverpool and Man City's fixtures, but you can get there with free transfers. So I don't think it's set in stone, and it's not like that huge advantage compared to using it earlier now. So
True.
Yeah, we've got a kind of safety net there as well with a wild card.
And we will also get those extra transfers in game week 16 or whatever.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about them. Yeah, there's those extra 5 transfers for AFCON as well. Yeah, so a lot more. Yeah, there's a lot more, I guess, scope for just being aggressive this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's have a look at what AI is recommending for your team, though, because I do just want to have a look at that and see if that compares with your current thinking. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys a quick little thing about something new that Fantasy Football Hub are offering. A quick heads up for anyone looking for even more fantasy action this weekend. We have just launched something new, Fantasy Gaming Hub. It is perfect for when you are watching a game without any of your FPL picks involved. You just open a pack, pick 6 players in a team. It takes literally 2 minutes and boom, you're in. Think FIFA Ultimate Team meets FPL, but it's faster and built for match days. It's free to play. Me and everyone else at Fantasy Football Hub will be competing in the Kickabout division and seeing how fast we can rise up the ranks to legendary. And there are actual prizes up for grabs. Click the link in the description to open your free pack and join us. You've seen me opening some packs on screen. A couple of decent players in there, and Burma probably the best. Some not that good, but I'm happy with how my team is looking for the upcoming round of games. Okay, let's get back to your team then, Abdul. The recommended transfers for your team are on screen. They're very aggressive, which I actually quite like. As always, guys, if you would like to see your own recommended transfers by AI, then the link is down below. Sign up to Fantasy Football Hub, as you can see, top of the screen. Get your personalized recommended transfers using the link below. It's recommending that you take a hit. Now, I will say as well, which is so good, I've put in at the bottom here your chip strategy that you're playing bench boost or thinking to play bench boost in game week 5.
Right.
So it has that in mind. It's recommending, though, that even though you have 1 free transfer, to take a hit. Now, a lot of the time, I would say AI can be quite boring and say don't take hits. But let's think about this, right? Sarr is out, so Menyo comes in. which is you know, pretty aggressive. You need to fund that with
Yeah.
Wood out for Mateta. So that just about works with your cash in the bank, and you get Mateta in for this game week, Sunderland at home.
Yeah.
It allows you to bench one of your weaker players, I suppose, as well. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's a great move for this week.
Yeah,
However, then Wood's got Burnley and Sunderland in game week 5 and 6. So I'll be regretting that move possibly, next game week. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I could see that. And maybe Wood is a transfer out soon because with a new manager in, we don't know if he probably is going to be first choice. We don't know if he's going to be first choice in the medium term or the long term. But I do plan to get rid of Wood in game week 7 once they played Sunderland. But I think I've got to keep him for those games. And because
yeah.
Mateta is now like, kind of pretty much nailed 90 minutes on penalties, he's going to rank highly in the models. However, saying that, having a look at like the markets in that, and especially like Rob T's expected goals numbers, I was surprised to see Palace at 1.6 expected goals. And I know that's because obviously it's predicting no Sarr, no Eze, like, there's not really much kind of attacking threat there, but at the same time, like, the only kind of route to points now seems like Mateta.
That is low for Sunderland at home. Like,
Oh
not
yeah,
many teams are going to
it's
be as low as that. To be fair.
yeah, and like I knew it'd be lower than normal because no Eze and Sarr, but I wasn't expecting it to be that low.
Yeah,
So I was a lot hotter on Mateta, and I did actually think about the Wood to Mateta move briefly, but I just thought it's not as good a fixture now as it was like a week ago when Sarr
true.
was fit. So yeah, for that on that basis, I probably wouldn't make that move, but I can see why the model is suggesting that.
I think Wood. But the problem with Wood as well is like if he is going to. I mean, we don't know now, but with Igor Jesus coming on as well quite early in the last game, is slightly concerning that could those minutes could decrease and decrease. And
Yeah,
obviously, you want your players to be
they'll
on the
de
pitch all game.
yeah. I mean, I think they'll decrease if Wood carries on blanking. I mean,
Yeah.
if
Okay.
he scores and he's carrying on doing well, then I think he's going to carry on, possibly getting like around about 80 minutes, which is kind of what he's been getting. Even last season, he wasn't a nailed 90-minute guy, but he's still got he's still like the pure talisman on penalties. But yeah, I'm not too worried. I mean, I think if Wood was more of a like a long-term pick, I'd be worried, but I am planning on getting rid of him soon. I just hope in these next 3 games he can, just keep it together and get some returns for me.
I've changed the I've changed the filter to lock you into just doing one transfer because I
Hmm.
don't think you're going to do a hit. And if
Yeah,
you are going to just do one transfer, then the suggestion here is actually to sell Florian Wirtz, who we haven't really talked about that much, and to bring in
yeah,
Semenyo. So the AI is very hot on Semenyo being in your team, and Wirtz, who has had a poor start to the season, I
yeah,
think. Well, I think he's had a slow start to the season from a footballing perspective. I think he's had a poor start from an FPL perspective. I don't think he's been
yeah.
anywhere near what we would expect in terms of his positioning, chance creation, shots, etc. There's been some tough games, but
Yeah.
what do you think about Wirtz as a whole? I don't think you're going to do this move, but yeah, I know he's got two decent fixtures coming up. I don't think Everton at home at 12:30 is a good fixture, by the way. I think it's a tough fixture. So I think a lot of it is on this Burnley game. But what do you think about him?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely getting the next 2 games. There's no way I'm making that move this week. I mean, I love Semenyo, and I wish I started with him. Like it was that Liverpool game that pitted one off,
Mm.
going with him, but he scored a brace in that anyway. But you can tell again why the models like him. He's like nailed 90 minutes, takes a lot of shots, etc. And he seems to like it's a small sample size, but he seems to have kind of upped his game this season. Based on the first 3 games anyway. So I do like him, but yeah, not for them, not for Wirtz when he's got Burnley away and then Everton at home. And I think that Everton at home game is better than it was in previous seasons because we've seen like they seem to be a lot more like fluid attacking wise and not so good in great in defence this season. Again, only 3 games, but that's what it seems like from what we've seen. With Grealish and Di, Beto, Barry. They've actually got quite a good attack now, so they don't really need to, sit back the whole game and try and like get a smash and grab. They can go and attack games.
Yeah, fair.
Especially with Grealish there, he's made a huge difference. Yeah, so I mean, Wirtz is going nowhere for the next 2 games. Has been frustrating, especially with the price drop and that. But I am planning on selling where it's probably around about, game week 7 if I am gonna, go down that route, possibly in game week 7 when Liverpool got Chelsea away. But if he, but that could change if he starts scoring from now in the next 3 games.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Okay. I think that's everything. Is there anything else to talk about that we might have missed, Abdul? Captaincy is pretty straightforward this week. Don't want to spend too long talking about
Yeah,
Salah.
I was gonna say captaincy, but I think it's just set in stone for me with Burnley away. So yeah, there's not much discussion there, to be honest.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Thank you very much, as always, for the tips
Thank
and
you.
advice. If you guys want to see what Abdul ends up doing with his transfer, then you must sign up to Fantasy Football Hub. First of all, you can see all your recommended transfers, use the My Team tool like we've shown you in this video, but then also you can see what Abdul ends up doing with Sarr, which I'm looking forward to seeing that. I mean, I have Sarr. I want to know what someone in my position who, has been playing FPL for so long and has such a great history is going to do with a player like Sarr. It sounds like a small decision on paper, but it's the sort of one where if you get it right, you're going to do really well for a long time and not have to think about it. If you get it wrong, it could be another transfer very, very quickly. So these decisions are important. But yeah, there we go. Good luck to all of you this game week. Remember to download Fantasy Gaming Hub as well. Link is in the description. Subscribe to the channel and we will catch you on the next one.